We've currently got a special offer live now on poodlecfb.com for the launch of College Football 26. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. You'll unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Join hundreds of members in the fastest-growing CFB 26 community out there. Don't miss out and sign up now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the ultimate guide to player progression in Dynasty mode. Now, if you guys don't already know, we're running a special deal over on poodlecfb.com. Code KICKOFF, all caps, gets you $50 off the annual plan. Code KICKOFF 2025 gets you $5 off the monthly plan. The great part, as I always say, is this is a recurring discount. So if you lock in today, you're locked in for next month, next year, and for the majority of your time over on poodlecfb.com. So make sure to lock yourself in. All the tools, the calculators, the builds, the discussions, some of the greatest minds in the community are over in that chat. You won't want to miss being a part of that, as well as the Dynasty League and everything else. It's a great place to be if you want to dominate your dynasties, embarrass your friends and family, and be accused of cheating. This is the place. This is the only place to be, quite honestly. So make sure you sign up, guys. If you need any help, comment down below. Let's get into it. So player progression is very, very different this year. I'm actually very excited. It's a lot more fun this year, but it is very different. So let's start with the basis. Last year, the game was random progression. What that basically meant was you played the game, you advanced, you simmed, you played well, you could accrue XP, but for the most part it was all random. So a player would just get some skill points and they'd spend it how they felt, they'd buy abilities how they felt, and honestly the downfall of this was really this. A guy I always love to give you an example of is my favorite running back in college football, my favorite running back in college football, the game too as well, Caden Durham. Caden Durham was my peak example last year. This guy had really high change of direction and really high speed and was pretty elite. The problem with Durham was, since the game randomly upgraded him, he didn't get Platinum Shifty till his senior year when he was eligible for it, since basically his freshman year. And that really bothered me, because Platinum Shifty was the greatest ability in the game. Now that they made it so you can manually progress players, you actually can just give him Platinum Shifty like right off rip basically, or right after the first season, and not have to wait years to get it, which is super cool in my opinion. And I'm very excited for the fact that you can do this, but this does change a few things. And quite honestly, what it means is that someone who knows what they're doing, and that's why it's important for you to stay through this whole video and understand what you're doing. I'm gonna make more videos going more like strategizing how I'll build certain archetypes and builds, but it's important for you to understand what you're doing, because anyone who figures this out early is going to build the most demon time meta build squad you've ever seen. Like 99 throw power, 99 speed, 99 change of direction, 99 platinum shifty. You're gonna see some crazy stuff. There's always that guy, and I'm probably talking to that guy. Our league has him, every league has him. That guy who just figures it out, who just knows exactly how to manipulate and take advantage of everything in the game. You're gonna have that guy. So if you want to be that guy, and it's important that you are that guy, stay tuned and listen to all this. So let's start with the basis. Something that's going to be very key this year, and I'll make a more in-depth video on this as well, is manual progression XP penalty. EA currently has it on 25%, and honestly, I've done some sims, I've ran plenty of sims, and this doesn't bother me. This doesn't bother me at all. Now, if this was like 50%, it would bother me a lot more. If this was anything higher than that, I honestly don't think you want manual progression on. But let's assume we have it on 25. Some leagues may bring it to 0. As long as it's below like 35, I'm pretty okay with it. So to give you guys a reference, when auto progression is turned off for a user control team, this penalty will be applied to all XP earned by players. So the way I see it is, let's say for every 100 XP points you gain, you only get to keep 75 of it, because you're getting it with a 25% deduction. Now let's say someone had this on like 75 or 50 and above, you're only gonna get half or even a quarter of it. So this is very important to take a look at. So whenever you're in a league, see what your league agreed on, come check your settings, check that out. Once you know that, you're free to go. So the first thing you want to do is come on down to, as long as it's not like crazy, and you want to go to auto progress players and turn that off, right? Make sure you turn that off. That is going to allow you to, that means that your players won't spend their skill points, and this is going to be huge. So let's start with going to your players. How do you upgrade them? Let's just start there for anyone who doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Let's go to, again, any player on my team. Let's look at Caden Durham, and you press Y on them, or triangle on PS5, and you go over to ratings. Last year you could see this page, but you couldn't do anything. Now if you hold A and you have points, you can actually buy them. So as you see, 15, 8, 5, 12, 3, and 4. So last year, to give you some reference, let's say I had 10 points. Actually, sorry, let's say I had 4 points. The game would automatically just upgrade route running. Then if I had 4 points again, it would auto upgrade IQ. Basically what the game would do, which is upgrade its cheapest caps first and work its way up. In theory, that builds a well-rounded player, but a lot of the times what would end up happening, see how he has 1 bar left and he's gonna get like 96 plus speed, and how he has 2 bars left and he's gonna get like 94 plus change of direction. Last year, the way this game worked, there was a world where it would take him all 3 seasons to max out basically route running, IQ, and hands, and then likely elusiveness, all before he ever touched his speed again, but he would stay here for a while. So what that meant was it would take to my junior year, basically, really senior year. you'd have to wait till basically senior year on almost every elite player to finally hit their ceiling, which I guess is somewhat realistic, but also there's some players who come in year one, like think of Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith, like guys who just come in right away and are just elite. Like that happened. So it was kind of annoying. Travis Hunter, it was kind of annoying to come in and be in a situation where like, all right, well, like this guy's so elite, but he's never gonna get it. And then after the offseason, you'd like be crossing your fingers, you'd advance to the training period, you'd be like, really? I didn't get the upgrade. Now you gotta wait all year again. So I do like that they did this, and also you can come over to physicals and manually upgrade your abilities as well. You can see the archetypes and the thresholds. So as you see, Silver Shifty only requires 88 change of direction. They really changed that. Last year was way too high. I told everyone I had Caden Durham in August and September with Platinum Shifty right at the end there at senior year, and that was the only time I ever had it again. I never got to touch it again on a running back because the threshold to get Platinum was like 95, which was insane, or 97. Was it 95, 97? It was super high, and like you could never get it, and they weren't making running backs that really came that way. Like a lot of the, you get like a 5-star blue chip running back and they'd have like 88 change of direction, they cap at 91, or they'd start at 92 and cap at 93, or they'll start at 91 and cap at 92 and not get even bronze. That was really frustrating. So that's where you go to upgrade them. So how do you go about getting skill points, upgrading players, and doing this the right way? So first and foremost, let me go through some of the packages you're going to need on your coach to actually maximize how much XP you get. Because before you can build demon time players and build these elite monsters, you got to make sure you're maximizing your points. So for me, my ideal coach build includes these packages. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But if you have seen it and you understand what I'm talking about, I'm going to be doing this. You got to get as soon as possible to tier 3 on this coach, on any coach, your custom coach. Also make a custom coach. Get to tier 3. Once you get to tier 3, that's your off-season training boost. That's going to be the largest single boost of XP you ever get on a player at any given time. That's going to be in the off-season during the training period. So make sure you do get that on so that your players will get their upgrades. Then after that, the next thing I'm focusing on is going to be talent developer this year, at least for me. Tier 1 pay it forward used to be tier 1 over in motivator, so I want that. That basically means, let's say I have a freshman quarterback on my team that I want to get built up, and Garrett Nussmeier is going to be a top 3 round quarterback in this game. He's like a 90 overall. He'll be a top 3 round quarterback. When he gets drafted, he gives a big bonus XP to quarterbacks behind him. So that's a really big one for me. Then I'm going to want tier 2 and tier 3. Freshman and sophomore quarterbacks progress faster, which means my younger guys can get built up quicker and get on the field quicker. Love that. And 3, Star Maker. Players will just earn XP faster at a position. Huge. There is another one that's pretty good, and it's Architect. I'm personally not going in that direction this year because it costs 50 points in Tactician, and I really don't want to spend 50 points in Tactician, like ever. But in Architect, there are other ones here, like the first one, 3-game win streaks, which I think requires you to be somewhat good at the game to actually utilize, or an offline league. Field Study, tier 2, really good. And tier 3, Limitless is just random skill caps, but there's more skill. There's like a lot more things to upgrade this year, and since I can manually do it, I'm not overly worried about that as much. But for me, I'm leaning talent developer as my end-all be-all for a lot of things. Also with Architect, the only thing I realized last year, like at some points, some of the guys would just, if they came without skill caps, you're not getting much from Limitless. And a lot of them wouldn't even max out anyways with all the XP you got in this game, so you never really needed a lot of skill caps to be broken. That's more for like players that are really capped. But again, those are my 3. And then of course you could check out CEO, and Gains Getter is the other one. Increase their dev trait. This one's going to be huge. So in this game, when it comes to progression, remember last year dev traits were locked. If you recruited a 5-star with impact, he was a bust impact player for the rest of his life. If you recruited an elite, he was elite for the rest of his life. Now there's a chance that a player upgrades their dev trait regardless by having a great season with them, by winning the Heisman, winning awards, putting up a great yardage season with them. But if you have this ability, it also increases that. So for me personally, I'm going to be interested in coming to this point and getting the CEO package if I can get it, to increase that chance of doing so. And that's going to play a large role in how you do this, because there's normal, impact, star, and elite. Having XP bonuses, right? Getting this training bonus, getting all this extra XP is great and all, but think about Star Maker. Starting quarterback gains XP faster. That's awesome. Bonus XP. That's awesome. Progressing faster. That's awesome. Training points and motivated. That's awesome. Now guess what would make all that better? If you had a package that made your dev traits increase, a better chance of increasing, and you had elite players and star dev players who already get skill points faster to begin with and upgrade faster in the offseason. Also keep in mind, so last year, normal, impact, star dev, elite didn't play a role in your offseason progression. Like, you were going to get a set amount of XP from it randomly no matter what. Now, in the offseason with the put in work, offseason training boost, if you're elite dev, you're going to get more, likely more points than if you were star or normal or impact. If you're impact, you're getting more than normal. If you're star, you're getting more than impact. If you're elite, you're getting more than star. That is cool. So that means that now you're really striving to have guys with high dev traits. And there's a higher hope now when you advance through weeks and stuff that those guys build quicker. So combine all of that, right? That's your framework. Now, how does it work with player progression? We're going to advance to the training offseason. I'm going to show you guys what you kind of want to be doing here, but I hope I laid out enough for you. The coaching packages, the mindset you need to have, the manual progression setting to make sure you're not absolutely just hindered by that, kind of how it works. And I'm going to kind of show you guys some of my ideologies and my thought process when building players, and how you're going to want to actually progress players to make sure that you're dominating your leagues and just straight demon time. I'm telling you. Now, if you want to see a few more things on dev traits and stuff, when you go to your roster, behind my head, I'm going to get my face cam out of the way. Now they have it on the player card, so you can actually go ahead and see their dev trait on there as you scroll down, which is super awesome. See where they're at. You can see if it went up. Also in the top right below their overall, you can actually see their skill points they have accrued, which is also cool. And you can see how their overalls go up throughout the season and all of that, and their abilities. So much cooler player card. You can see their stats and all of that. But player progression is a bit more in-depth this year. But I will say the biggest change is going to be last year. We had to play two different games mentally. Last year we played the game of randomly upgrading. So we'd have to go look at what our cheapest thing was. What are they going to upgrade? We'd have to then, we had a big archetype focus. This year's going to be a little different. So last year our archetype focus was based on, okay, field general quarterbacks have fast buckets on throw power and accuracy, so their overall is going to go up the quickest. Scramblers didn't, so their overall is going to go up the slowest. Or scramblers would upgrade all the wrong stuff, field generals don't, so you wanted a field general. This year, since you can manually upgrade, you're kind of shifting away from the archetype game. Yes, you're going to pick archetypes based on players you want, like I want a speedster at wide receiver, I want an elusive running back, but you're not going to choose it simply for player growth, which is cool. Because last year we were at a point where we were strictly like recruiting players to make sure that we were going to have high overall rated players. Now, I will say on the flip side of all this, right, beyond just archetypes, yes, we're not doing that anymore. Now we don't have to just focus solely on those points. We don't have to focus solely on random upgrades and crossing our fingers. Now we can control it. On the flip side, though, auto progression does have a higher ceiling. Why is that? Auto progression has a higher ceiling in terms of overall, because remember, since you're losing 25%, think about it this way. If you're a guy who's not that great at this game, you're not much of a winner on Saturdays, you don't know how to abuse abilities and abuse players, and you kind of just run the ball and try to hope to win, manual progression may be best. I mean, maybe best to turn everything off and just use auto progression. Because if you use auto progression, you're going to have 25% higher ceiling than everyone else. Because for every 100 points they gain in XP, they only keep 75, you keep 100. It's like being taxed. Imagine if your income was untaxed. If you make 100 grand, you get to keep 100 and they're being taxed 75K. It's a huge difference in terms of overall XP. Now, my only caveat to that is do remember that the computer is going to be dumb and likely spend it on things you may not want. You may be able to better allocate it to what you actually want, but they will upgrade you quicker. It will upgrade everything quicker. And there's going to be leagues where if this is on like 40, 50, 60, 75, auto progress teams will hit like 96 overall and manual will be 92. So do keep that in mind while doing this. And you can play around with this. I'd recommend doing some sim leagues, guys, before you get into your main league. Do a few sim leagues. If your team is Bama, Boise State, if it's Georgia, if it's Iowa, pick your team in a sim dynasty. Find out what your setting's going to be and play and do a few sims. Like do a whole season or 2 seasons of your team, whether if it's Iowa or LSU, do 2 seasons, put it on 25 and do it and sim it 2 seasons with manual on, where you lose the 25%, and then sim it 2 seasons with auto. See them side by side, and then upgrade all your players the way you would do manually, and then see what the auto did. And you'll see like Harold Perkins went up to 95 when only here went up to 93. You'll see Durham's a 99 in the auto, but he's only 96 here. But then you'll see the difference of, okay, Durham's a 99 here, but he doesn't have good stuff. He's a 95 here, but he has platinum shifty, platinum this, he has 99 speed. So definitely play around with it. I think it'll behoove you to actually see that, because I think if you're a really good player, a guy that can win a lot of games, win natties, you're going to want to go the manual route as long as it's feasible. But if you're a guy who just wants the best overall team and going to try to abuse people with overall, go that route as well. But let's sim to the training results period and kind of show you how this all works and how I'm going to be personally looking at all of this. So we've reached the off season. We see our trading results. Let's go into it. So one of the big changes this year was a more visual trading results window. As you see, we see nothing green, nothing upgraded. That's because as you look under our players' names, we now have a bunch of skill points. So let's go through this and I'll show you a few ways how you can maximize this. So as you go through, I'd probably go position by position, but for the sake of this, let's start with the running backs. We have Harlem Berry and we have Caden Durham. So you're going to want to break out your calculator here. I'm not even joking. Break out a calculator, take some notes, and be ready when upgrading players, because points are you're going to want to maximize. Remember, in off-season and CFB is your one chance to really change the way your team's going to be next season, because skill points aren't the easiest things to get. We took 34 for all season. So let's say I spend them the wrong way. he's a junior. I'm not going to get his full what I want till his senior year. So let's just say I want speed, shiftiness, and I want the ability shifty. So I go take a look. To upgrade to shifty, it's going to cost 2 for bronze, so on and so forth. And to upgrade his speed, it's going to cost 15. So if I was to do his 15 speed boost, I'd be already at 19 points left. So I gotta be real careful. If you're in an offline league, I'd recommend saving it and trying this out. If you're in an online league, maybe make a second league and play around with what upgrade you have. And then there's elusiveness. There's all these things I can upgrade, but I'm going to be focusing on elusiveness, quickness, and shifty. So for me, first and foremost, I want my shifty up. That's my, like, you got to prioritize what you want when building a player. So for me, for running back, shifty is where I'm going with this. So I'm going to upgrade a shifty one time. That's 2. Let's go again. That's 6. Let's go again to gold. And platinum. We're at platinum. That keeps confusing me because it looks like we're one behind. So we're at platinum. That leaves me with 18 points left. So now I got to see how can I maximize this. Platinum shifty is what I wanted for sure, no matter what going to next season. 95 speed, 97 excel. He's so fast already. A boost would have helped, but shifty's going to be game changing, and extra speed's not as game changing as shifty. Or do you want his elusiveness up? So we can get his juke or spin up, but because I have shifty, I'm probably not juking or spinning much. I'm probably just trying to swerve people and abuse shifty. So with that being said, I think I actually prefer have top end speed so that when I do make the cuts and I do utilize shifty, I have the speed and excel to do it. So me personally, I'm spending my 15 on speed. You may be able to get away with doing a double elusiveness here and getting your juke move into the 90s. If you're a juker, that's maybe the route you go. For me, the way I play, I want the most speed, stamina, and acceleration possible. Also keep in mind that toughness plays a role this year. Plays a role. He only has 88 toughness, 91 injury. He's going to be a guy that, like, I noticed a lot last year. He was good for like 10 to 15 runs. If I abused him too much, he kind of went out on me. But I'm going to go with quickness here, and I get my 96 speed that I wanted. That's huge. I'm left with 3. I'm probably saving it because I don't want any of this stuff. But as you see, last year, if this was last year's game, he would have utilized that 34 points. He would have maxed out route running probably like 4 or 5 tiers up. His IQ would have went up, and then he would have made his hands go up. This is what happened last year. I remember it vividly when he went up to his 90 overall. He became this 88 catching elite wide receiver at running back. Doesn't really change anything. They can't really play like wide receivers. A great route runner, 88 route running, and then he also had high IQ, but he didn't get any of that other stuff. So I appreciate that. So let's move on to another player and do a few more of these builds. Let's go to Barry now. Let's see what his build is. Let's see what I can do with this guy. He's East-West playmaker. He has 94 speed, 96 excel. He has more points than Durham does. Okay, so keep that in mind. A little more to spend here. So for me personally, I'm probably going the route again of speed and shiftiness. So same kind of build for him. He already has silver shift. That makes it a lot easier. Let's keep him there. And let's play around with what else we could do. So let's just say his change of directions is 93. His juke, he actually seems to be a little more agile than Durham was, but he's not as fast. So do I go with a double possible speed upgrade here and see what I get? I don't care for route running, IQ, power, hands. I really feel like this is the route we're going. But once again, I'm probably going to go with the full on speed here, get him to 96. That is crazy. He's a 99 speed, 99 excel. And remember, a lot of times you'll realize that final tier in CFB, like that final block right there, is like the biggest jump because it's getting to his ceiling. 99, 99. This guy's absolutely crazy, and I could have gotten him platinum shifty as well. So now you know what his ceiling is, and this is a great way to kind of play around in your like sim dynasty to see. That's what I'm telling you. Do 1 or 2 seasons, see how you could build them. Because you may build Barry and be like, wait a minute, 99 speed was great, but I should have gotten shifty first. Or shifty was great, but I should have gotten the speed first. So play around with your teams. This is a great way to kind of go through. But yeah, you can do this with your whole team. I'm not going to waste your time going through too many more guys, but you'll get an idea for how to build these players. Let me take you to a different position like Perkins. Perkins is a linebacker. That's built like a stand-up linebacker, but rushes way better. So for me, I look at his physicals and I'm like, okay, so none of this has to do with pass rushing, so I don't really care. Robber's a great ability, but I don't plan to have this guy standing up much. I plan to have him actually like playing the pass rushing a lot. So for me, I might say, do I want one more speed bonus or do I want his pass rush better? So right now he's a pretty good pass rusher, but for me, I feel like I want to go all in on pass rush and get him into the double 90s here with the skill points that he's allocated. So 91, 90, I don't have enough now for speed. Could I go anywhere else? Maybe I go a little run stopping to make that a little bit better because his run stopping is not great. And that's how I'm building these players out. Going through it, and every position is going to be different. I'm going to make a more in-depth video at some point where I go through each single player and exactly how I would build them. Maybe we'll do a cornerback here just so you can get an idea. He's a bump and run cornerback, which probably means he's mostly man. Yep, so he's a man coverage cornerback, bump and run. So what I care about for him is going to be press and man coverage. Now his abilities, what can he get? I care about jammer, but he doesn't meet the requirements for a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to go through. I got to make him a better man coverage corner. It's going to be relatively cheap because that's his main archetype. So that does apply to last year's archetype bit, is where it's going to be cheaper for his main archetype stuff. So let's get his man coverage up. Let's get him into like the 90 man. All right, so now with the 17 remaining points, let's see what we could do here. And now this is a situation where you might have seen like, wait, I only needed 88 or an 82 press for that jammer. I didn't have to go as high. Maybe I should have waited and got more abilities. That's something that you're going to want to play with. But now we can go through and upgrade his jammer because jammer's an elite ability. And let's build him up. So we have a gold jammer, 90-man press corner with 91 speed. That makes him one of the best cornerbacks in the game, probably, or close to it. Going to be an elite jammer, elite man coverage guy. Having elite man coverage and press with jammer is going to make him really, really good. And now with the extra points, while we could use it on zone, I don't really want it. If I'm going to be a man guy, I'm going to go strictly for man coverage. But if you're going to be a mix of man and zone, build them well rounded. It doesn't hurt to do so. And then their speed and other things as well. Maybe their hands, because they're dropping a lot of picks for you. But mainly, I'm probably focusing on these three. But again, I'll make a more in-depth video on that. The point is for you guys to see like the thought process behind how we're going to do this and see how there's combinations to do here. So I'm left with 7 points now. Maybe if I just did one less man upgrade, that would have saved me like 8 points. I would have had 15. I could have gotten one more speed upgrade out of that, or I could have gotten blanket coverage up a little bit more. See, right now I could do one, but if I didn't do the other one, I could have gotten blanket coverage to 6. And like I said, you only really got one chance at this, because once we hit advance and we go into the next season, it's going to take you all year to get a lot of skill points again. The biggest boost is going to be in the off season, plus what you accrue through the season. But if you're trying to compete for a natty, and you know, like you fell short of the natty last year because your quarterback kept missing that deep throw, then make sure you upgrade that deep throw ability. If you know that you missed the natty because you weren't able to make good enough cuts with your running back, make sure you go right in on shifty, because I know I need that. And last year, a lot of you guys can probably attest who played this last year. There was a lot of big playoff runs I had where I lost, and I was like, wow, if my guy just had that one ability, he would have gotten in quicker. If my quarterback finally had that plus 90 deep accuracy, I wouldn't have missed that game-winning throw deep, wide open, that blew the game. If my running back had that one ability, he wouldn't have went out so early. And that's how I'm going to be looking at how I improve my team. And guys, that basically wraps up the Ultimate Guides player progression this year. There are some other things like going for the cheap buckets. Like I said, when you're building your players, make sure you're upgrading some cheap buckets. Don't do this one dumb thing. Actually, I'll give you this right now too. Don't try to upgrade your guys outside of their archetype a little bit, because you're going to end up hurting yourself. For instance, his power is 12. Look at his build. He's never going to have high trucking. He's never going to have high stiff arm. If this was entirely maxed out, his trucking would probably be in the mid 80s and his stiff arm would be in the low 80s. So while you think that sounds good, it's 12 points now. It's going to be 12 plus 14 plus 16 plus 18 plus 20. That's going to cost you like 70 to 100 points to upgrade his power, when that 70 to 100 points could max out his speed, his elusiveness, his hands, his route running, and his abilities. So remember, don't go against the grain when building players, because while you might be saying, oh, it's only his freshman, you'll get so many points, there's only so many points they're going to get. Even with my ideal coach build, it's going to help a lot with all the XP you're going to get, but there's only so much XP you're going to get. You're going to see players who finish seasons with like 18, 20. They didn't play a lot. Don't waste all your points going against the grain. Don't build he's like 5'2", it feels like. He's 5'9". He's so tiny. That is a east-west playmaker, shifty, elusiveness. Don't go and try to make him a power back. Don't try to go make someone something they're not. Don't try to take a non-scrambling quarterback and try to get his speed up a bunch and see what you can do, because there's so many ways to play with this and do it the right way. I'm going to take a pure runner here, and let's see what we can do with this speed while we're at it. It looks like he's a 91 speed, only gets one speed upgrade, but on a pure runner, you'll notice that the accuracy or like the throw power, look at that, a pure runner throw power. If we go against the grain, I'm going to use all of his points right here, and his throw power is only coming up to an 89. Only an 89. I just used 30 something points. I could have taken that and made his accuracy actually useful. So that wraps up today's guide. I hope if you have any questions or anything more in depth, I've played this game quite a bit at this point. Comment them down below. Let me know what you want to know. If you haven't already, check out poodlecfb.com. One of our best deals, code kickoff, all caps, get you $50 off the annual plan. Code kickoff 2025, all caps, get you $5 off the monthly plan. It's a recurring, grandfathered in discount. Lock yourself in. Get all the greatest tools in the Dynasty landscape. Dominate your competition. Be accused of cheating. And come join a great, both fun and very brilliant community of players. One of the fastest growing communities. We're probably at close to 1,000 by the time you're seeing this, or we will be pretty soon as a whole. So make sure you check it out, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.